Good afternoon. This is Media Center Ukraine, Odesa. We are starting our working day today, and our first speaker is Alla Stoyanova, Director of the Department of Agrarian Policy, Food and Land Relations of the Odesa Oblast Military Administration. Ms. Stoyanova, the floor is yours. Good afternoon. I'm glad to see all of you. But today I would like to start not from agrarian issues, but from the information frontline. And first of all, I would like to welcome you with your professional holiday. Today is the day of workers of radio and media in general. When it comes to cameras, when it comes to microphones, it is about fight for the fair relations, and yours the fourth power. Together with you, we have a general objective. This is our fight both at the agrarian and information front line. The agrarian frontline in Odesa Oblast is the support of our economy. Starting from 2022, despite the military aggression, we have had a whole range of agrarian activities to develop the agrarian complex in general. Of course, there is the impact of the war on the agrarian sector, but we had to adapt very quickly to the new circumstances. We united to take serious decisions. We have been facing limited resources in terms of the seeds, fuel, fertilizers. We have faced the limitations in investments and crediting. In logistics, there were the blocks of ports, there was the lack of employees because representatives of our sector had to join the armed forces of Ukraine to protect our country. But we managed to overcome everything thanks to our unity, thanks to the powerful vertical of our authorities, thanks to the powerful leader of Ukraine, and thanks to the powerful team of agrarians in Odesa, as well as the representatives of educational circles. We monitor the situation 24 hours, 7 days per week to ensure the continuous operation of the agrarian sectors. We booked more than 6,000 persons, and this allowed us to fulfill very important tasks. First of all, our oblast is one of the first to finalize harvesting of early and late grains. We have harvested 991 hectares. We grain 2.5 million grains, including wheat, which is our bread, and Odesa takes the second place in all regions of Ukraine. The Odesa Oblast is the only region that continues cultivating rice. The gross harvest is 2.7 thousand tons. As for the spring sowing campaign, it is under control of the Agrarian Policy Department. In September, our agrarians were the first to start the sowing campaign of winter crops for the harvest 2023. 167,000 winter rape, more than 550,000 winter crops, winter wheat, and 133,000 barley have already been sown. This is around 80% of the forecasted areas. But due to the lack of moisture and precipitation, we are witnessing drought in Odesa. And we already have the numbers. For example, the winter rape over 6,000 hectares died. And actually, the same is for the wheat over 3,000 hectares. But there is no deficit in our region. There are more than enough food in Oblast, both for the permanent residents and IDPs. Moreover, we are the partner region for the Mykolaiv Oblast, and we keep sending food there to ensure the food safety in the region. Now we are preparing our support to Kherson. It is very difficult for the Odesa Oblast to be autonomous from the energetic point of view. And there is the project of the Ukrenergo to define the new construction line, Odesa Artsys. And we are also change the limits of the reservation areas that will allow the construction and the development of the project. As for the land issues, despite the martial law, we continue our land relations, and the notaries continue working with the state cadastre. There are more than 22,000 agreements for the certain areas for the concluded agreements. But Odesa is on the one almost last place. The market is not that lively here because of the drought. The only way out is to be independent from the precipitation, and this means that we need to develop our melioration and to expand the system. We started the readiness of different objects for the watering. In the area of 10,000 hectares, the watering system has been established. There were certain projects planned for the year, but unfortunately we have to postpone them. At the political level, the state implements the new opportunities for the water users. The regulations are there, so the water users can unite, agrarians can unite to increase their capacity for the management and restoration of melioration systems. Despite the fact that our regional program, Agrarian Odesa Oblast, has been suspended, the department has taken the needed actions. We have implemented the new modern types of crops that are adapted for the new climate conditions. We have attracted investments to the Odesa Oblast. From the EU, we received 60.7 million hryvnias. These are the budget subsidies for 1 hectare, around 3,000 hryvnias, and for one animal, there is a certain amount as well. 4 enterprises have used this, using around 70,000 hryvnias. And for the first time, we have the program for physical entities. 144 physical entities received 5.4 million hryvnias together. 183 farmers received 29.7 million hryvnias. So the support of the state is very significant. As for the private farmers, they also received the opportunities to use the same funds. The private farmers received 24.8 million hryvnias for the almost 8,000 hectares of land. The next program that have been actively implemented in our regions includes grants, micro grants up to 250,000 hryvnia. 84 applications for 9.23 million hryvnias were approved, and 19 grants have been approved. The program My Garden, there are 5 applications, 1 grant for 7 million people, and for the processing, 3 grants to the amount of 20.5 million hryvnias. And the general funds in the form of grants in Odesa regions is more than 68 million hryvnias. For us, it is very important to develop our farmers. 51 new farmers started operating in Odesa. For the micro business, we received the charity support from the Monsanto company, which belongs to Bayer companies in Ukraine. 69 farms received the thousands of corn seedling, and 78 farms received also thousands of rape plantings. We also received the support from FAO, financed by the Japanese government, and farms received 476 farms received 92 tons of seedlings. Also, from FAO, we received the additional support in the form of sleeves, and the Odesa Agrarian started receiving this in autumn. We applied for 928 sleeves. One sleeve can contain 200 tons of grains, and this is very supportive of our agrarians. Under the initiative of the Department of Agrarian Policy, the Institute of Wineries and Wines Tayura, we developed the register of wineries defining the limits of the winery areas, and there is the draft decision in the Verkhovna Rada that shall be considered for the wineries of all Ukraine. And the situation is very difficult for the wine industry, especially when there were bans to sell wines and alcoholic beverages. There was the decree of Odesa military administration allowing to sell spirits. 61% of wineries are in Odesa region. In general, 70,000 people work in the agrarian sector in the Odesa oblast, and we have additionally 6,000 people for the harvesting season. As for the export, 365 million people face the significant agrarian problems. Around 250 million face famine. To cope with this problem, the President of Ukraine started the campaign to provide humanitarian support in the form of wheat and grains to the countries of Asia and Africa, including Ethiopia, Somalia, Nigeria, Congo, Sudan, Kenya, etc. But this initiative depends not only on the readiness of Ukraine, but also on our international partners and the continuation of the grain agreement. Odesa is the export gates of Ukraine. We have river and seaports in our oblast. Thanks to river ports, we have alternative ways to export our grains. And I would like to say that Odesa oblast and Ukraine in general will have bread because we produce 5-6 times more than we consume. But what can do those countries that can't get our grain? Because I believe and I hope that international leaders, the UN, Turkey, will do together everything to ensure the further continuation of the grain agreement. If you allow, I would like to remind that we will send the press release and the report to everyone. So let's start the Q&A session. I will be the first to answer the question. You mentioned the support of partially deoccupied Kherson Oblast. Can you provide more details? What Odesa will supply to Kherson and villages of Kherson Oblast? I can't provide this information so far because there is the meeting ongoing to make the decision. But you mean products and foods. Yes, we speak about everything we can submit to support that region, including foods, some energy systems and stations, everything that we need to support that oblast. The next question about the grain agreement. What is the condition of elevators and terminals and ports? Are they ready for the continuation of the agreement? Both, both terminals and grain traders are getting ready to continue the grain agreement. But as for the trading operations, they are on hold-on regime. They're in standby mode. When there is the understanding of the general expert, we can discuss further contracts and also the export indicators for our region and for the whole of Ukraine. We hope that we will have this agreement, and our traders hope for this as well. We are ready, both with the manpower and the capacity for handling goods. Moreover, we have the agreement for almost 4 million grains through the sea. This is Odesa, etc. We speak here about the TIS company terminals. We speak here about Pivdenny port, Odesa port, and Chernomorsk port. As for the sowing campaign, just checking the mic. Odesa is one of the few regions where the agriculture continues actively developing, but we did not suffer the shellings as much as Kharkiv or Kherson oblasts. Do you have any cases of the premises of different enterprises moving to Odesa Oblast? First of all, I would like to mention that our farms have been also damaged, including the agrarian companies, elevators, warehouses, animals. So, yes, some of the enterprises were relocated to Odesa, but not only the enterprises, but also other experts that joined us, and they were warmly welcomed by Odesa Oblast, and they continue working in our region. Yes, these are from different regions of Ukraine: Mykolaiv, Kherson, Zaporizhia Oblast. I remember that in early autumn there were issues of storing the grains that were harvested. And you mentioned some of the crops that were stored directly on the fields. So what is the situation right now? Are there empty elevators ready to store new grains? Odesa is an export-oriented region, and we have a lot of capacity for storing grains, and we were also supported by FAO. So those who did not have enough places for storing ordered additional sleeves with the capacity 200 tons each. So there are no issues with these warehouses in Odesa. I have the question about small farmers. When I prepared some report about their activities, they informed me that they did not have funds to buy new grain for sowing campaign. And they also mentioned the possible support of the oblast and state budget. You've mentioned some grants. Do you mean this support? Can you name the amount of money provided to small farmers? Yes, I've mentioned the numbers. This is not a grant support. The grant support was provided for the development of horticulture or greenhouses, etc. And here we had a significant support of the FAO program that provided the winter wheat. And through the Monsanto company, which belongs to the Bayer group, provided the seeds of rape and corn. And there were also 16 million provided by the European Union, focusing the small farmers having from up to 120 hectares of their land. Everyone could apply it for this company, and our Odesa farmers have already received these funds. Do you have any questions? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Anatoly Kozin. I'm representing Media Center Ukraine, Odesa. You've mentioned around 3,000 agreements to buy land. Yes? Yes, you're right. 7,800 hectares. Do you have any information about the amount of agreements with the foreign investments? No agreements. Yes, according to our legislation, it is impossible. Yes, but there were some law on the market of land. Yes, we have this law, but this excludes the possibility to buy agrarian lands by foreign investors. Tell us, please. Perhaps you have some information about the budget revenue. If you multiply hectares by 35, 40,000 hryvnias on average, you will get the number. Thank you. If there are no other questions, I would like to thank you for your time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the provided information. And we hope that the agrarian sector of the Odesa Oblast will continue to develop despite the war. Thank you. And I would like to use this opportunity to say that on the 20th of November, we have the day, the Agrarian Day. That's why I would like to use this opportunity to welcome everyone who belongs to this industry, to this sector. And I would like to thank everyone who is still in Ukraine, who continues working and baking bread, who continues paying taxes, supporting our region. I would like to wish you the efficient development, goodwill, and also I would like to wish you the generous harvest and glory to agrarians of Ukraine. Thank you very much for your work, and I believe that the next professional day will be celebrated under peaceful skies. Thank you. Less than in 1 hour, we will have one more briefing. The spokesperson to the head of the Odesa military administration, Serhiy Brychuk. Stay with us.